planets in, so you can see all the crises going on 4 years back, 4 years forward. Again, and it makes it easy. Here's the Saturn, here's the 8-year graph, here's what we're navigating through.
那么，我们回来以后呢，会去看一个8年的这个挑战，就是外行星带来的8年的这一个挑战，然后我们再会把它结合土星一起去理解。谢谢。那么在这个图上呢，我会把这个土星呢放在上面，然后土星的这个4个相位合相，4分相，然后对分相，再是合相。
So we did it like this. This puts it around in a circle.
那么这是重新组织我们刚刚的信息。之前呢，我们把它放在一个就是说这样去波浪性的线上面。现在呢，我们把它放在这个圆盘上面。
I prefer to take the longer circle because you can look at the time and you write things beside it. There's more space. It's better to work with.
那么我偏向于建议大家用那个刚刚我们说的作业的那个方式去把这个时间写下来。
So just put Saturn. Oh, you see Saturn? You see the degree opposed it? You can see more or less where a square is.
那么我们这个呢，就是帮助大家看到星盘中，就是说土星在这个主要的这个阶段的这个相位置在哪儿？星盘中。
Just looking at the natal chart, you see, oh, there's Saturn. There's the opposite degree. There's the square. So you can see this cross without just when you look at a chart.
那么我希望就是说，通过这个方法呢，就是大家只要拿到出生星图的话呢，就直接通过本命的土星在哪个位置呢，我们就可以把这个4个点就像十字一样的标注出来，或在我们头脑中就是说显示出来。
If you use this chart, you can't see it.
那么如果我们是用这个出生星图的话，我们就看不到那个点了。
Because it doesn't have the individual degrees, and it's the size of the houses. They change, but you don't see each individual degree. On these charts, you see each degree. So 90 degrees, it looks like 90 degrees, and opposition looks like 90 degrees.
那么就是说，在这张星图上呢，就是每一个这个度数呢都是显示的非常清楚的。那么这个时候呢，这4分相你是看到就是90度，就是完全90度，不是那个很奇怪的度数。
So then, if you draw the sun in, you can see there's the sun, there's the conjunction, next conjunction, next conjunction to define your goals.
那么就是这张星图呢是说太阳，那么太阳的话呢，大家可以看到说第一个合相，土星和太阳的合相，第2个、第3个、第4个合相，然后这就是定义你人生中的目标的时期。
The opposition bides your time.
那么对分相呢，就是说，你需要就是大家就看我那个那么就是等待，耐心的等待的时期。
Be patient.
然后有耐心。
The squares, you adjust your goals.
那么在4分相的时候呢，你调整你的目标，调整人生的目标和步伐。
This should be in your imagination as you're looking at a chart.
那么这些东西呢，都应该在你看出生星图的时候呢，你就已经在脑海里面显现出来了。
But we're not normally, when you're seeing it like this, we don't always automatically what happened the last time, what happened the last time. We don't always see the circle.
那么当我们看到这些的时候呢，我们不会去马上把下一次上一次这个事件，上一次这个相位是什么事情，再上一次这个相位是什么事情，自然而然的去想象出来。
If you take the time to do it once, just yours, you'll see this so much easier.
当我们花时间把生命中的这些事件呢都列下来的话，我们会更清晰的看到这个模式。
So then this shows there's the ascendant. So when you have the signs fixed, the ascendant can be anywhere. It spins here. It can spin upside down. So here, there's my ascendant. The below the horizon, it looks like it's up. The midheaven's over here.
那么当大家知道就是说上升点在哪儿的时候呢，我不再就是随便的去串通星盘了。我看到就是说那个地方就是上升，然后天顶可能是在那个左下方的位置，那么在上面的那一部分就在右半。
It's not a big deal. You can still see the ascendant house 1, house 2. You know where the houses are. It's not a big deal.
那么反正我把星盘整过来也无所谓，只要大家知道1宫、2宫、3宫在哪儿就行了，上升在哪儿就行了。
But it's really useful when you have this type of chart and you're using transits, because every time you do transits, they become an animation. Each chart becomes an animation, and you begin to remember where they are over a century.
那么就是说这个非常有用的，就是好像是说，当我们把行运加进来以后呢，就好像是一个动画片一样的，你就会知道说，这100年或者多少年的这个动画片是怎么发展的。
So this is all three of the things we did put together. The sun, the Saturn, and the angles. They're just colored differently. You got the dates. It's a lot of information.
那么这就是把这个太阳和土星，还有就是四轴的这三个这些周期呢加在一起，那么通过不同的颜色表现出来。
You could navigate through it now because we've gone through the pieces.
那么我们刚刚之前讲过的一些每一个事件是什么，所以现在你可以很好的去把它们就是说一起连接起来去理解。
It's still easier to do each one separate. Saturn to Saturn, watch it. Saturn to the sun, Saturn to the angles, and just watch it. They'll all fit together on their own.
那么我建议还是把分开来去理解，比如说行运的土星和土星的关系，行运的土星对太阳的影响，行运的土星对四轴的影响，分开去看。那么这些事件最后它会非常自然而然的就是统一起来或整合起来，你会去整合的理解。
So this is my chart. Saturn, Pluto, 12th house in Leo.
那么这是我的星盘，土星和冥王星在那个狮子座，在12宫。
It squares Mars, Mercury, and Jupiter in the 3rd house.
那么四分，在3宫的这个火星、水星和木星，在天蝎座的这些3颗行星。
This is my intensity in my research. I know a lot of material.
那么这就是我的这个激烈的能量，以及我这个去做研究的能量，我懂很多东西。
But I'm better off to work alone with Uranus in my 10th house. When I try and join groups, I try and drive everybody like I drive myself.
那么，我的天王星在这个10宫啊，我最好还是自己一个人独干吧。我如果跟一个团体或者集体一起干的话，我可能会像就驱使我自己那样去驱动别人或者去催促别人。
Not everybody's happy with that.
那么并不是所有人都乐于这样做。
So I work on my own. I love the ideas. It's not a problem.
那么我喜欢我自己的主意，喜欢我自己的这些看法、想象力，所以我自己和自己在一起工作很开心。
So I look at this Saturn's in my 12th. We'll oppose it from the 6th to the square here, square here. So you can see that right away. It's going to move along. It's going to hit my ascendant first at a young age, 3-4 years old.
那么可以看到说土星的话，我土星行运的土星呢，在我很小的时候，4-5岁的时候，可能就会来到上升点。
2.5 years, to be exact.
2岁半。
My brother was born.
我的弟弟出生了。
My grandfather died. My grandmother died.
我的这个祖父祖母都过世了。
And my uncle drank himself to death because he couldn't live without his mother.
那么我的这个舅舅呢，我的叔叔呢，他自己喝酒酗酒，以至于就是说自杀了，杀死了自己，因为他不能跟他母亲一起生活。
So my mother went from having a family and all her social support of the baby, nothing. No family support.
那么我母亲本来是生了小孩，然后有家庭的这些支持，然后这个时候她失去了所有家人的任何的支持。
So that's very young. Saturn that conjuncted my son. I'm only 6-7 years old.
那么然后呢，就是土星呢合向了我的太阳，我那个时候就是6岁到7岁。
My parents split up, get back together. I start school. I'm on the grade 11 gym team.
那么那个时候呢，我父母就是说分开了，就是分手了，但他们后来又在了一起。然后这个时候呢，我也是加入了那个体操队。
So then Saturn went down to Saturn hit my IC. I'm about 10 years old. Oh, what happened 10 years old?
然后土星呢，就是来到了我的下降点，那个时候大概我10岁左右吧。
My next brother was born and we moved from the edge of the river into an apartment.
那么那个时候呢，我第2个弟弟出生了。那么我们从这个河边呢，又搬到了这个大城市生活。
It was a big loss for me because I used to play on the river all the time.
那么这对我来说是一个极大的损失，因为我经常在那个河边玩耍。
But so you can begin to just look around and follow. You follow around the angles. You see, oh, here's the conjunction, here's the square, there's the opposition. You can start seeing it just looking at a chart.
那么它从一个本命星图中呢，就可以把这个土星这样的运转起来，然后看看它们的这个产生的相位，那些什么年份发生什么事情。
So my son's below the horizon. It's not a high-profile chart. It's about studying, teaching, learning. All my planets are down here.
那么我的这个太阳是在地平线之下的，我的所有的行星基本上都是在地平线之下的，所以这样的配置呢，并不是一个非常就是说很高调的，或者拥有很多这个就是地位或者什么这个职业的追求的人。而对我来说，最好的能量就是不停的学习，不停的教学，不停的研究。
But I started many astrology groups, but I never stayed in them. I can start them, but I have to let them go.
那么我就是也开创了很多的占星的这个机构和组织，但是我永远没有办法待在那个机构里面，所以我就开创了，然后就离开了。
So I don't want to talk about my chart anymore. It just was showing you what we've done. It fits around the chart. You can see it that way. But when you're working with it, just draw the drawings, write your things up, get your Excel sheet done, draw it down. It's just part of your diary. It's useful information. It's easy to get to. You can add different stories to it as you go along, and it grows.
那么，我不会再更多的去讲我个人的星图了。那么之前呢，我们也讲了很多的方法，然后去通过我想说的是说呢，行运是可以通过那个练习纸的方式，把这些都记录下来，然后就好像我们每个人都会记录自己的日记一样。然后呢，我想说的是说，通过个人星盘、出生星图，我们还是可以通过在出生星图中，就是说，把那些事件给这个显示出来的。
So I'm going to show you the 8-year graph, and if we have time, we'll try and work through some of your charts and take a look at it and see what we can see right off the top.
那么就是现在我给大家看的是那个8年的规划的人生规划的表啊。然后接下来如果有时间的话呢，会讲一些个人的这个星盘的案例。
So we were going to calculate these. So we were going to calculate the Uranus to Uranus, Uranus to the Sun. But in taking, we're just going to change this a little bit. Uranus, Neptune, capacities. Okay. We have an 8-year graph.
那么这里呢就会记录我们8年的生命。
Each year is here. You can write it in. And then the years, 4 years down at the bottom.
那么上面白色的空白呢，就可以写4年，下面呢也可以写4年。
So you got January, February. You got each column is for a month as you go along.
每一列呢都是12个月。
So just as you calculated, this has Pluto, Neptune, Uranus, Saturn, Jupiter. Don't worry about Jupiter if it's too complicated. Just Saturn and out is enough.
那么大家不要去看那个木星啊，因为那么我们只需要看土星和3王星就可以了。
So you know how you calculate Saturn this month, this month, and this month? That becomes a solid line. Saturn this month to this month. And you put Saturn, just put Saturn to Saturn. It's a square or not opposition.
那么大家怎么去就是说做标记呢？比如说呢，是土星的话呢，如果是土星对冲土星或者土星跟本命土星有相位，那么这几个月份呢，大家就用实线标注出来。
But for this chart, you're using Saturn, Uranus, Neptune, Pluto. You're watching the aspects, conjunctions, squares, and oppositions only to the Moon, Mercury, Venus, Sun, Mars, and the angles.
那么我们需要通过这个观察这个外行星和土星，它们跟月亮、水星、金星、火星然后太阳这些的相位，以及跟4轴的这些相位的时间记录下来。
So you can put aspects to Jupiter and Saturn in if you want.
你可以把
It's extra.
你可以把跟土星，你可以把木星的这个相位放进来，那这是另外的额外的。
In transits, when you're looking at the big things in your life, you don't watch Mars is squaring Uranus, Mars is squaring Neptune, Mars is squaring Pluto. That's a little aspect. Lasts a few days.
那么当我们去看那个外行星的这个就是当我们去看行运的时候呢，我们会去看生命中的主要的能量，我们不会去看这个行运的火星跟你本命的天王星、本命的海王星发生的相位，只会发生1-2天。
But when Pluto squares Mars or conjuncts Mars, it's a 2-year aspect.
但是当那个行运的女王星它对你本命的火星产生相位的话，那么这将是2年的一个时间的影响。
If you're going to be mad for a week, your husband can deal with it.
如果你就是说生气1个星期的话，你的这个丈夫是可以忍受的。
If you're going to be mad for 2 years, he's gone.
如果你生气2年都在生气的话，那么你的丈夫可能很快就会离开你的。
Or you're gone, or something like these other planets are long-term things. They last a long time. They come back and forth. It's a big crisis.
那么这些外行星的相位，他们是不停的过来又走了，走了又过来，他们是持久的、长期的一个影响。他们对你来说是生命中的一种长期的或者是说重要的挑战。
It's easy for these big crises to take you away from your Saturn.
那么这些危机呢，这些外行星带来的人生的危机呢，是很容易把你从人生的这个秩序，也就是说土星带走的。
I mean, if you're trying to be responsible, but you hit your thumb with a hammer, you're not being responsible. You're going to say some nasty things.
那么，如果你想要过一个就是负责任的人生的话，但是你的手被那个锤子给打出血了，你可不会去还想到什么责任感，你可能会骂人的。
This is a chart that I filled in, just Saturn and Pluto. This was done in 1960s. I did it for 1969, but it's really 4 years up to 1969. These are the 4 years ahead.
那么这个就是我记录的，就是年份，那么是从1966年到1973年，然后呢，我就把土星和冥王星的这些主要的相位发生的时间都记录下来了。
So I'm 20, 21, 22, 23, and young man.
那么那个时候呢，我是从20岁开始，20、21、22、23。那么那个时候我是年轻的人，年轻的小伙子。
It looks like there was no big crises in these times.
那么好像看上去从20到21岁没有非常大的危机啊，是空白的。
My life was full of change, but I was living in Mars and Jupiter. I'm doing this, I'm traveling here, I'm going there. This changes, so there were many changes, but they weren't extreme changes.
那么那个时候我的人生还是很丰富的，因为我就是到处旅游或者干很多事情，我似乎是生活在火星和木星中的。但是呢，虽然那个时候我忙于很多事情，但是我人生中并没有发生很多极端的变化。
My family split up. I did second year university. Then I left. The family split up. I just didn't go to either parent. I went out on my own.
那么那个时候就是说，我在大学的2年级，那个时候我父母分开了，那个时候我并没有去选择说跟父母的任何一方在一起，然后我决定离开校园，然后我去流浪了。
So I spent about 4 years, from 17 up to about 21, just traveling. I'll work a little bit here. I'll play here. I'll go see this. I'll go see this. It was just an old hippie.
那么我就像那个就是17岁到21岁的时候呢，我就像嬉皮士一样的，我从这儿旅游到那儿，然后去打一些临时工，然后呢我又去就是说游览世界或者去流浪。
But by the end of 67, going into 68, I already started to feel I don't belong anywhere. What am I doing? Nothing's happening in my life. I don't fit in anywhere. I didn't have a career. I didn't have a job. I just been traveling.
那么1967年到1968年那个时候呢，我就已经感受到这样的感受了。我就觉得说我好像跟这个社会上任何地方都格格不入，我好像也不属于这儿，也不属于那儿，我好像也没有自己的职业或者我自己的事业，我不知道干什么。所以那个时候已经产生了这些困惑。
I didn't belong in the cities I was in. There was no way I could. If I went back, nothing was good when I went back either.
那么我好像就是我来到了这个社会，这个新的国家对我来说我是格格不入的。但是如果我回去的话，似乎也不会发生什么好的事情。
So the aspect here, there's other things going on, but in the transits, Saturn was just going into. In 67, I left North America and I went to India, and here, these times were the times I spent alone in this cave or in this room.
那么就是说那时候就是说可能在行运上没有看到什么一些东西啊，就是1967年的时候，但是还有其他的一些，我现在没有包括在这里面。但是呢，大家可以看到说，在那个1968年那个时候，黄线标出来的时候，我都是在印度在冥想。
This time, this 3 months, Saturn was squaring my moon.
那么那个前3个月呢，就是说土星行了我的这个私分了我的本命的月亮。
I'm sitting alone in this cave, I'm meditating. Food was sent in every day. But I wouldn't eat it. I didn't eat.
那么那个时候3个月，就是说我在那个小的山洞中就是冥想，然后一个人在一起，每天都会有准时的会有人送食物过来，但是我没有吃任何东西。
When I came out at the end of that, I had gone from 130 down to 65 pounds.
那么当那个时候出来的时候，我从165磅到变成了60多磅。
The skin was hanging on my bones.
那么这个我的皮肤好像就是耷拉下来那种感觉。
I felt great.
我感觉非常好。
I just spent all this time alone. I had my meditation. I felt great.
那么我一个人在一起，然后我在那儿冥想，我觉得棒极了那个感觉。
Everyone else thought the wind was going to blow me over and I would die.
那么其他人都认为说我大概那个风一吹我就要倒了，我马上就要死了。
So I wanted to go deeper. I wanted to go right back in the room again.
那么我想更深入的去冥想，所以我想要再回到那个屋子里。
They said, no, you gotta put some weight on.
那么其他人说不行，你不可以再这样做，你必须要增重了。
So they arranged for me another place in southern India.
那么他们在那个就印度的这个北部好像又安排了另外一个地方。
They fixed up the room. It took a month. I went down there. A month later, I went in the room, and I wasn't planning on coming. I went in the room. I was in this room. The Saturn opposes the Sun. Saturn opposes the Sun. Saturn hits the Moon. Saturn opposes. This whole time, I didn't come out. I just sat there.
那么在那个时间呢，就行运的土星都是就是说，对冲我的太阳，对冲我的太阳，四分我的月亮，再对冲我的太阳。那么在那段时间里面呢，我一直待在那个里面，我冥想，我一直没有出来。
2 years, I heard no news, no music.
那么2年我没有听到任何的新闻，也没有任何的音乐。
What did I do? Someone says, "Hey, what did you do for 2 years?" Nothing.
那么有人问我说：“你2年做了什么事情？”我说：“什么也没做。”
Where you been? Oh, nowhere.
你去哪儿？哪儿也没去。
But at the same time, up here you see Neptune was conjunct the IC, the lowest point in the chart, was opposing my midheaven.
那么在同时的话呢，大家可以看到说是行运的海王星和了我的 IC， 也就是说在这个最低端，那么也是对冲了我的天顶。
If I went a little bit more than 1 degree, it would be here and here too. This whole year it would be there.
如果我容许都再放宽1、2度的话呢，那么这个海王星的行运将会就是说更宽更久一点。
So not only was I doing nothing, I felt I don't belong anywhere. What's real? And Neptune was at the deepest point in my chart. What motivates me? I don't know.
那么就是那个时候不仅我在冥想，然后我也是很困惑，我不知道我属于哪里，我不知道我该做什么。海王星呢，也是在我的这个天底最低端，所以我对我自己来自哪里，对我的什么能够让我驱动，我非常的困惑，我不清楚。
Why go out? Why go anywhere? May as well just stay there. I don't know what I'm doing.
我为什么要出去？我为什么要做什么事情？我根本不知道我要做什么，我根本不知道我要去哪。
So it wasn't like I knew, but I was meditating, I was chanting this whole 2 years.
那么我在这个整整的2年中呢，我都是在冥想，然后我都在唱诵。
For 13 months, I didn't see another person.
那么13个月里面呢，我没有见过任何一个人。
I didn't see daylight.
我也没有看到过就是太阳阳光。
It was just alone.
就是只是一个人孤单的待着。
In prison, in solitary confinement, someone would go crazy.
那么如果是在那个一个人待着的那个禁闭的那个监狱的话，有可能那个人会发疯的。
I did.
我确实发疯了。
So, but there was a mystical thing going on. I didn't understand it, but I was waking up to it.
但是虽然我当时并不理解，但是那个时候是一个非常重要的灵性的时期，我好像是说灵性层面某一些东西开始觉醒的时期。
If I had tried to act anything out, nothing would have worked. If I tried to do a business, wouldn't work.
如果那个时候我要尝试去做任何事情的话，或者是说我要去开一个公司，我不会做成功的。
If I tried to have a relationship, I wouldn't be a very good investment then.
那么如果我那个时候尝试拥有一个关系的话，那么对另外一个人来说，我并不是一个非常好的伴侣。
I have trouble with garbage anyways. So, put out the garbage? No.
就好像说你让我去那个倒垃圾，我就偏不倒。我那个时候就那样的态度。
So, but at the end of it, the last hit, it was Saturn square Saturn, but the last hit of this, I went in for 50 days. Those 50 days I had visions.
那么接下来呢，可以看到说是行运的土星4分土星的这个相位，然后在那个冥想的最后的50天呢，我是看到了画面的那些就是说启示的。
Visions came about astrology, I Ching, music. I didn't sleep for 50 days.
那么那个50天我没有睡觉，我没有就是说没有就连续50天没有睡眠。那么我看到了这个启示呢，是关于占星、易经和音乐的。
I left India, went back to Canada. Within a month, I met a lady, someone I knew before. We got married.
那么，然后接下来呢，就是说我离开了印度，然后我回到了加拿大，然后在这个不久以后呢，我遇到了一个女士，那个女士我之前是认识的，然后我们俩就结婚了。
Okay. Stupid, I know. I didn't want to be alone.
非常愚蠢吧？是的，我知道。但是那个时候我不想就是非常孤单，我不想孤单的待着。
So, and then Neptune was conjunct my Venus.
那么接下来就是海王星星，海王星合向我本命的金星了。
She seemed to be the most beautiful person in the world.
她看上去就好像是世界上最美妙的、最美丽的那个女人。
Really, it could have been anybody that was being with me. I would have been happy.
那么就是实际上就是那个时候，任何一个人待在我身边，我都会认为她是我的女神。
So, we lived in the city, then we moved out to the country with Neptune on the IC and had a little telescope. I watched the stars, I made some teas, I sold at the stores. So this was like Neptune on the IC still.
那么接下来呢，就是海王星在下降点。那么在下降点的时候呢，我们就搬到了那个像农村那个地方。然后我们每天晚上会泡一些茶，然后看看星空。
Then Neptune hit the Venus 2 more times. We were together most of this whole time, but by the last hit, we started just after it lifted.
逃走了，我接下来5年都没有办法找到他。
So this is just Neptune, a whole bunch of Neptune, one after the other.
那么这就是海王星的行运啊，一个接着一个的海王星的行运。
But I learned something from that.
但是我从那里学到了一些东西。
I learned to love everybody's kid.
我学会了爱所有人的孩子，
Not just my own.
而不是只是我自己的小孩。
It was a beautiful thing inside the sorrow.
那么在那个伤感的，在那一份悲伤的背后呢，有一个非常美丽的东西，是一个礼物。
Now, inside of all of this, I had visions of astrology. I started really doing astrology around here, just as Uranus was coming up to my sun. When Uranus conjunct my sun, I registered my business as astrology.
那么就是在那个过程中，就海王星行运的过程中呢，我还是有一些就是说关于占星的一些视觉和画面的。然后呢，就在那个行运的天王星合向我太阳的之前呢，就在它合向太阳的时候呢，我开始正式的职业了，成为职业的占星师。
I started a national group, and things started building up from there.
那么我开始作为一个就是职业的占星师，在全国注册了一个占星师。那么我就开始我正式的这个职业生涯了。
But when we split up and she took off, I had a farm in the country. I had to let go. I had to move into the city. I had to move a couple of times as Uranus was squaring my moon.
那么那个时候就是当我们分开，当我的前妻带着孩子离开的时候呢，那么就是行运的天王星行了我的这个私跟了我的本命的月亮，所以那个时候我必须把那个就是在那个乡村的这个农庄给卖了，然后呢我必须要搬很多次家，然后再重新开始我的生活。
It's not the story I'm trying to show you. I'm just showing you the time by putting just a planet. You put a line in for each planet you got. Like for Saturn, we did Saturn. There's all the Saturn ones. Okay, put the Saturn ones in for each month. But I included Saturn to Venus, Saturn to other ones. I put on this. I used Saturn to all the inner planets. Watch them this month to this month. And I put the lines in so you can see the influences there. So without words, without analyzing things. You can look at a year, you're seeing a monthly calendar, and you're seeing how thick it gets, how pressured it gets, how they build up, what's strong and what's not strong.
那么就是我并不是说只是想要告诉大家我生命的故事啊，我只是通过说把这些列到一个就是像日历表一样的，把它们都标出来，我们就可以看到说哪一些能量是强的，哪一些能量是弱的，或者是哪一些它是以什么方式展现出来的，我们并不需要去解释，我们自然而然的就知道说生命的能量是怎么演化出来的。
If you're going to do this, there's not going to be a lot of aspects from the outer planets.
那么对于那个就是说外行星的话，不会有太多的这些相位。
They'll pile up. There'll be years when there's none. There'll be years where there's a bunch. But you just calculate what you want. You have to calculate the conjunction, the square, the opposition, same as we did with Saturn to the Sun. But you're doing it to the Moon, to Mercury, to Venus, Sun, Mars, and you can add Jupiter instead.
那么那些外行星的话呢，就是它影响的时间会比较长。然后呢，我们只需要通过外行星合相、四分相、对分相，然后又是再是对分相这样的4个相位去理解。然后呢，主要是通过外行星跟个人行星，比如说太阳、月亮、水星、金星、火星，你也可以加入木星或者是。
This gives you all the extreme aspects for 8 years.
那么这就会给到你你生命中8年的那些非常具有挑战性、非常激烈的能量。
It takes a few minutes to set it up, but once you've done it, you may see someone for the next 2 or 3 years and you already have this done.
那么当你这样做的话呢，你可能需要花几分钟去做一个这样的记录啊。但是你记录好以后呢，你就会很清晰的发现8年的这些规律，或者8年中会发生什么事情。
If you do the next one, you got 8 more years.
如果你再做一个这个计划的话呢，你可以再看一下接下来8年会发生什么。
One day, in the next few years, if I find a few programmers, I may get my astrology program to include all these, so you can have these graphs, so these things will all be done, but it's not there right now.
那么我总有一天我会希望去用电脑的方式，就是说做一个这样的程序，就是会把这些自动的做出来，但现在这还没有这个程序。
So that little graph, just line up. You have the sheets. You just calculate them. One of the things that would be useful if you look at your chart, you take the Moon, Mercury, Venus, Sun, Mars, Jupiter, Saturn. Right? Take the positions, write them in a column, but put them from 0 to 30. Never mind the sign, just put them 0 to 30, like in order. Like if Venus is at 0 Sag, you put Venus 0 Sag. If something's at 5 Virgo, you put the ascendant at 5 Virgo. If something, so you just put them in a row, because when a planet goes into a sign, it hits 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. You can look down this list very easily, and then just think, well, once you see, oh, there's the same degree. Is it a fixed sign? Is it a cardinal sign? Are they square? Are they opposition? Are they conjunction? It's easy to see.
那么就是如果大家把星盘中的这些信息，如果那些行星从这个0度到1、2、3、4、5这样度数排列下来的话，大家可以清楚的看到说，哪个行星正好也是现在天空中哪颗行星正好走到这个度数，然后呢，这个行星是在这个固定星座，就是开创星座还是固定星座？因为开创星座和开创星座都是行。
This is all old school stuff, like you calculate with before computers, you draw it up, you use the ephemeris, but it's very useful to be able to do that.
那么这些好像都是一些非常古老的方法，那但是这些方法呢都是非常有用的。
You could, oh, you have one of those charts.
Yeah, one chart.
Yeah.